It's official. Disney has confirmed that a Loki spin-off show will be part of the production slate for their upcoming streaming service, Disney+. Very exciting stuff. But Loki isn't the only character that we were hoping to have confirmation of. Rumor has it that Marvel Studios and Disney have been very busy secretly developing other Marvel series properties for the streaming service, with rumors flying around about beloved heroes and villains beyond the Asgardian god of mischief. So today, we are counting down our picks for the top 10 Marvel series we need right now. Also, warning friends, we've got some spoilers for Infinity War on this list. Now, to be fair, if you haven't seen it, maybe go do that, now. What are you doing with your life? Starting us off in at number 10, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One of the more popular rumors on the interwebs is that these two will be getting their own show together. Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson first met each other in Captain America the Winter Soldier, first as adversaries, then as begrudging allies, and their banter was always pretty much on point. Both of them were low-key vying to be Steve Rogers' best pal. Although, sorry Sam, you just can't beat the bond that he has with Bucky. Stucky. Regardless, the two have had some solid chemistry together that made for some solid laughs, and it would be interesting to explore their dynamic together further in a series, even if it was just a limited one. Rumor has it that Malcolm Spellman, the writer of Empire, has already been approached to write the show. Plus, if Steve Rogers dies in Avengers 4 like everyone is pretty much banking on, these two are kind of lost without him, meaning having a buddy duo show together could be one way to ensure that their characters keep on keeping on. And of course making money for Disney and Marvel Studios. Up next, number 9, The Fantastic Four. Let's be honest friends, cinematic adaptations have never been kind to the Fantastic Four. And while Marvel Studios arguably has some major plans for the quartet of heroes who technically started it all, and the Age of Heroes in the comics, we can't help but flirt with the idea that maybe Disney might want to use the team in one of their series instead. Now, think about it. A limited series introducing the Fantastic Four, ending with them buying the old Stark building and turning it into the Baxter building, could be a hell of a way to segue them onto the big screen. It'd be a safe approach too. Since the Fantastic Four have such a temperamental history in cinema, testing them out again but on a smaller scale on the streaming service might be a more profitable way for Marvel Studios and Disney to go. Moving on to number 8, The Vision. So we all know that there's a hell of a chance that the Vision may be gone for good. Considering the character was technically killed by Thanos himself rather than, thanks to Thanos' snap in Infinity War, there's not a lot of hope that he may return. But who knows? One thing is for sure though, the character really only has his relationship with Wanda going for him. And if the Avengers disband by the end of Avengers 4, who knows what could be in the cards for him, especially if the rumors about Scarlet Witch pan out. More on that later though. Anywho, one way the character could live on is if he got his own show. And Tom King's 2015 Vision run in the comics would be the perfect inspiration for one. Essentially, Vision tries to live a normal life and creates a wife and children for himself, the wife being modeled after Scarlet Witch, which is also super weird. Of course, in the comic story arc, things don't work out as planned. It's strange, absurd, and is a really moving introspective look at the character, which could be exactly the kind of show Disney Plus would want in order to mix things up and have some variation in its Marvel properties. Moving on to number 7, the X-Men. What's one way of ensuring that an entire cast of mutant characters who Disney and Marvel Studios will soon own the rights to will be integrated into the shared universe properly? Make a TV show about them. The X-Men are a super hefty property when you think about it. There's a lot of characters. We've seen over the years how Fox has handled crafting those characters, and while the original 2000 X-Men film was, fun, with the exception of Logan and maybe First Class and maybe Days of Future Past, the X-Men movies have often floundered critically, despite doing well at the box office. Reestablishing all of those characters from scratch and making them distinct from the previous blockbuster adaptations will be no easy feat for Marvel Studios. Similar to our point about the Fantastic Four, it may make sense to have a series that features several of the mutant characters, carefully establishing them like the Netflix Defenders individual shows did, minus Iron Fist. No comment there. Depending on their success, integrate those characters into the larger MCU feature films. Now, we definitely think that we'll be seeing an MCU feature film with the X-Men starting somewhere in phase 5 or 6, but one way to really establish the world of the mutants effectively, especially if Marvel Studios chooses to have them come from an alternate Earth, which is a whole theory on its own, would be to build that background through a TV show. And you know darn well it's gonna get viewership too, so no need to worry there, studio execs. In at number 6, Blade. Personally, I would watch the shit out of a Blade TV show. Think about it. The original 1998 Blade film was dope, and it really got to the heart of the character in a way that didn't mingle with the grander Marvel Comics universe. It resonated with people and it was awesome. But now take something like that, an updated version of it, and have it play subtly within the boundaries of the MCU, all without ever threatening to dabble too much into the realm of superheroes. It could be amazing. Give us that sweet, sweet Marvel horror genre we've all been craving, guys. Plus, then he's still there for crossovers and stuff. All works out in the end. Moving on to number 5, Moon Knight. Back in 2017, James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy films and now ex-employee of Marvel Studios, pitched an idea for a Moon Knight feature film. It's a concept that Marvel Studios has been flirting with for a while now. Because of how busy Gunn was at the time with the Guardians, the idea was never really further developed. But when you think about it, Moon Knight, a character who struggles with dissociative identity disorder and is in a constantly confused mental state, may have a better story for television, especially if Moon Knight's stories venture into unreliable narrator territory or play with reality versus illusion. Could be really interesting to watch. And at number 4, The Adventures of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to watch Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne as the original Ant-Man and the Wasp, just zipping around on missions in the 80s. Wouldn't you? The history behind these two characters has always been a fascinating one, and we were only given a tidbit of it in the 2 Ant-Man feature films. Don't you want to see how Hank got started with S.H.I.E.L.D. in the early days? Or how he and Janet would tackle various missions together? Or how they fell in love? Or even see them first learning about the quantum realm? Hey, even Hank's conflict with S.H.I.E.L.D. itself would make for an interesting story arc. Marvel Studios isn't a stranger to crafting shows in their universe that take place in previous time periods either. Look at Agent Carter. Exploring Ant-Man and the Wasp's days at S.H.I.E.L.D. would be a really fun way to incorporate a bit of a lighter-hearted show into the MCU, but still pull audiences in with already established characters. And it would potentially be a great way to bring back fan favorite Peggy Carter too. And at number 3, Young Avengers. The Young Avengers isn't the only superhero team out there to be rumored to be getting a series on the Disney Plus streaming service, but it is one of the only teams that will already have established characters in the MCU. Now, in case you're a little lost, we're referring to the recent casting of a new actress playing Cassie Lang, Scott Lang's daughter, who is Ant-Man. Avengers 4 is adding actress Emma Furman to their cast, a significantly older actor playing the role than Ant-Man and the Wasp's Abby Ryder-Fortson. While this has caused speculation that Avengers 4 will likely take place several years later than Infinity War, it also opens up the possibility that this Cassie Lang may suit up and become one of the Young Avengers like she does in one of the comics' alternate Earths. Another rumor suggests that we may see Scott in Avengers 4 go to another Earth by accident, one in which Cassie is already a member of the Young Avengers team. Regardless, an older Cassie is promising, and could very well mean we may have an entry point to a show that follows the adventures of the Young Avengers. Here's open. In our number 2 spot, the Thunderbolts. Marvel fans have been long awaiting a Thunderbolts adaptation to be announced for the MCU. A team of ex-villains and anti-heroes, the group already has a few members who have been introduced in the cinematic universe, including Baron Zemo, who is the founder of the Thunderbolts, and Hannah John Kamen's Ghost character from Ant-Man and the Wasp. We know that Marvel Studios intends on keeping Ghost around, publicly admitting that they didn't want to kill her off in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Other theories about the Thunderbolts speculate that we may see Thaddeus Ross come back in as Red Hulk, and that perhaps Clint Barton might join up as Ronin. A Hawkeye in the comics at one point became the leader of the Thunderbolts in an attempt to adjust the public's perception of the group. That would be one hell of a way to make sure there's already an established character that we love as part of the group. So, the possibilities are ripe, friends. And finally, in our number 1 spot, Scarlet Witch. A series following Wanda Maximoff was the next biggest rumored show in the works when it came to Disney+. There's high hopes for a Scarlet Witch series, and for what it could mean. Many think that contrary to our previous points, a Scarlet Witch series would be the perfect transitional point in introducing the X-Men characters, considering Wanda's history in the comics as a mutant. There's also speculation that in the show she would become more of a villain, stepping up and filling her father's shoes from the comics, Magneto, liberating mutants. Her history of the public being fearful of her and her inability to control her powers opens the door for some really interesting story arcs, and once Wanda has control over her abilities, she's got the chops to be just as powerful as Daddy Dearest. And imagine the kinds of arcs the show could play with, like a new take on the House of M. It'd be really good. Plus, Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda, has got some serious acting chops herself, and it'd be nice to see her flex them with a much more substantial role in the MCU. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which of these shows would you love to see become a reality? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread that love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more MCU videos, just like this one. There's even a playlist you should click that is flashing on your screen right now. In the meantime though, thanks for watching everybody. I'll catch you all in the next video.